Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the John Jasniak Show. On this episode, sliding into the podcast, I got my friend, Matt Peterson. Matt, what's up?
How you doing, John? Good to be here.
Good
to have you. Been a while.
Man.
I haven't seen you in a few months.
Yeah, haven't seen each other since the last land event, probably.
Yep.
And now we're out here on site in Midland, Texas for my land event tomorrow.
Yep.
You came in early for the podcast from Austin, right?
Yep.
That's where you live nowadays?
That's it. Just moved to Austin.
And you just got to partake in a live sale out on this land where we literally sold a lady a 2.5 acre lot with a water well for $3,500 down and $1,000 a month for 60 months. She said she was running back to get the cash. What'd you think about that?
She pulls up in a Cadillac, like SUV,
that was a nice
right?
one, and that's cool,
nice
yeah.
one. Brent, she didn't even turn it off the whole time, just kept it running. I didn't know if someone else was in there.
She was pregnant too.
Yeah, she's pregnant, walking around.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm going to go back and get the cash. It's 12 miles away, and I'll run back over with it. And I'm like, did he just sell a property cash when I just got here? I just pulled up.
Yep, live podcast, live cash on the spot. You're a land investor. Well, first, I'm going to ask you kind of what I like to ask people. Like, if I asked you, what do you do, what would you say?
Oh, man. Source properties for under their value and then turn around and sell them. Either, like a lot of what you do is seller financing. We do some seller financing, not tons, not as much as you, or for cash.
All land, though?
All land so far. We're starting to develop a few properties here and there, the ones that kind of make sense.
Yeah.
As far as building on them, subdividing them, putting mobile homes on them, stuff like that, and then selling those.
Nice. And for the audio folks and video folks, we are both kind of under the weather, especially you.
Yeah.
So the voice sounds a little rough.
Did not have a voice yesterday, so trying to make it through with some cough drops and some water.
Anything for the show. But you just built a ranch. Right? Or you're in the process?
Yeah, bought a ranch and had we'll have to do a future episode on that. Just bought a ranch. I've had it for a little while now. There's an old house on it that big freeze a few years ago that came through Texas ended up bursting a pipe in it, and the ceilings fell down in the house and everything. I thought I was going to be able to renovate it, like just gut it and redo it. But once we gutted it, I mean, it was rough. So we ended up bulldozing that. Now we're building a brand new house out there.
How big's that house?
It is 2,447 square feet.
How many acres?
That's on 30. So it's not a huge property, but it's a nice little chunk just in south of San Antonio where development's coming that way hard. There's a lot of big ranches getting subdivided in that area. And like there's a new H-E-B out there, there's a new Walmart. So the population is moving that way, so it's a good investment.
Well, San Antonio is definitely a hot area, at least from what I hear. I've never done a deal down there, but I've looked.
Yeah.
And especially I think as you get to the southeast towards like Stockdale, Floresville, however you say that town, if you're familiar. I think, anywhere really, Austin, San Antonio, DFW, I mean, we're Texas guys, so like anywhere outside of city limits where it's actually affordable, like where we're at here in Midland, Texas, is kind of blowing up. Yeah,
it definitely is down there too. I mean, it's not even just that area though. It's all over the place. I mean, there's so many developments going in everywhere right now. So.
And this is a lot different land than down there. This is like desert land. And the first thing you pulled up and got out of that car, what'd you say?
This is shit land. No one's gonna want to buy this.
This is shit land. No one's gonna want to buy it. Just like every single troll.
Like every troll on Facebook does.
Yeah,
every single
social
one.
media. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so many of them.
I wouldn't pay $100 an acre for that land. Lo and behold, we bought this piece for 1.1 million. It was 150 acres with this house where we're filming. It's a 3,200 square foot house. But when you back out that and just the land by itself, I think we bought it for about $4,000 per acre.
Okay.
And then we'll sell it. Cash sales like 15 to 16 per acre. It's like a quadruple. And then our owner finance, we're doing at like 18 an acre.
Okay.
Over 5 years.
Take that, Facebook trolls.
Yeah, take that, trolls. Quadruple your money. Like if you look in Midland County anywhere, you're not going to find 100 acres of land, even 1,000 acres of land for less than $2,000 per acre. And you got these people out here. It's a lack of education, man. I mean, what we do in the land space, people just do not comprehend.
Yep. 100%.
You were gonna wear an American shirt coming out, but you didn't, which I'm disappointed about. And I told you I wanted to, right off the jump, kind of talk about this. There's a lot of talk online right now about foreign countries, the rich people buying American land. Have you had any experience with that? If you don't mind sharing it, what do you think that is? Like, why are they doing that?
Gosh, I don't even know why. I've had people ask me if I live in America and I'm American when I'm trying to buy properties.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any other experience outside of that, as in, are you talking like other countries trying to buy from me?
Yeah, buy from you.
Mm-mm. Have you?
I mean, I've had foreigners who try to buy from me, but never other countries, like someone from a
well, I guess foreigners, because
government
you
or
can
something.
own land still here, right?
Yeah.
So,
have you sold to any foreign folks?
yep, yeah.
A lot of Africans, especially, is what I find, want to own land, especially in Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any experience with that.
None there.
I mean, it's like just a different style of living, especially the stuff that I sell. Like, we've sold dry land to foreign folks, and like they're out hauling water, and it's like crazy. Where would you say you specialize kind of land sales? Are you nationwide, just Texas-based, or what?
Oh, got a lot of stuff out near Big Bend. It's kind of one of the areas I started.
Brewster County, Texas.
I don't do tons of that anymore, just because I've moved on to, more.
Did you sell a piece? You told me you sold a piece down there, you think,
I was
today.
just getting a text that said, the lady that works with me is asking a realtor's texting her, and she's asking me questions. So
How many acres?
I'd have to look at that property ID. It's probably 20.
Okay. On something like that, what are you in it for, and what are you selling it for? A 20-acre piece of land in Brewster County, you think?
I'm not sure which one that is, but I mean,
Ballpark.
land out there has gone so crazy that it's probably worth $1,000 an acre right now.
Okay.
Back when I started, it was worth like $300 an acre when I started out there. So that was 2017, 2018.
Yep.
I started land investing in 2016, but then that was, I think, the second or third place I mailed. And I mean, it was, you could buy for $100 an acre and sell for $300 an acre out there. You can't do that anymore.
Now it's tripled.
It's up over $1,000 an acre now in a lot of places.
What do you think that is? Inflation in general, like market in general, or just something about that area?
I think it's a lot more people flipping land now, and then there's been a ton of people that have bought land out there and put Airbnbs. It's a huge Airbnb place.
Glamping and all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I stayed at the Summit at Big Bend where they have like 30 glamping domes.
Oh yeah, it's super nice.
Yeah, good property. You started in 2016. We started at the same time.
We did.
Did we?
I think our jobs about the same time too.
I think we both learned and bought the Land Academy course at the same time.
Well, I think, didn't you learn about this off the Nick Loper's Side Hustle show?
I did, yeah.
Well, and then Mark was on there?
Yep.
That was the same with me, yeah.
Dang,
I learned
episode
it too.
108, Side
Then I
Hustle
bought
show.
Mark's program, and
Okay.
then like it, then I bought Land Academy. And just followed that to a T, and
Pretty much the same deal here.
sure
Bought both
enough.
of them.
And then Full Circle. So that course teaches you to, mail areas that there's land flipping in. I'm like, I don't want any competition. I don't want to mail those areas. So I picked a county where there was nothing for sale. And I mailed that county, Cochran County, Texas.
Cochran County, Texas.
Yep, Cochran County.
Where we give away free pieces of land, which if Brian comes out here and brings my laptop, which I forgot to get, we will give one away at the end of this episode.
Okay.
So probably in like 30 minutes, an acre in Cochran County.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to go grab Brian, have him laptop and mouse.
I know where it is, just south of Bledsoe.
South of Bledsoe, dry land. Can't do anything with it. That is truly what the trolls and scrubs online say, like this is desert land.
I sold a ton of properties to people out of Lubbock there. But they all hunt out there. There's hogs out there. There's mule deer. There's sandhill crane, quail, dove. So, I mean, it's not unusable land. You go out there and you're like, wow, this is sand and some like grass, basically. But it's
no power, no water.
Yeah, none of that.
How much money have you made in Cochran County? Did you make, you think?
Gosh, I don't know. That mailer was 1,100 units. It was my first mailer, 1,100
Just
units.
pretty small.
But I think a few hundred of those actually went to another county. So I think Cochran County was only like 800.
Okay.
And I got hundreds of yeses. I mean, lots and lots and lots. I ended
For
up
all
buying
1 acre lots.
I ended up buying a lot, but I think I ended up buying 35 or 40 of them. It was 1 acres, 2.25s. There were some 10.27s. Is that what those were?
Yeah.
And I bought, I think, like 30, 40 of those, somewhere in there, and
So you
sold them
probably-
pretty quick on Craigslist.
You probably made like 40 or 50 G's.
Probably, yeah.
And then what? I know you worked in New Mexico or still are.
Yeah, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah,
Yep.
a little Nevada, done a few in Arkansas, a lot in Texas, obviously. I'm missing something. Wyoming.
How many deals do you think you've done to date?
Just bought my 300th property.
Dang, nice.
So,
Well, that's one thing I kind of want to dive into, I think, is like starting the business, because I actually just got asked yesterday. We've both built 7-figure land businesses now. I've completely transitioned to subdivide. Basically, I think you're kind of dabbling in the subdivide space now as well. I just got asked by someone yesterday on Instagram. They're like, what's the advantage of land flipping versus house flipping? And I think if you talk to every land flipper, because there's quite a few of them that have come from house flipping, every land flipper who has come from house flipping is like, this is so much better. Not even close.
There's less problems.
Less problems, less competition. I think the margins are way higher. What else?
I think all those are problems, right? Because it's like all the competition. Okay, that's a problem. Like, or you might just have to figure out a solution for it. But I mean, it's not. You're not having to. I don't know. It's so easy to sell online. Not easy. That's the wrong word. But like, there's ways to sell it online to where the way we advertise, we don't have to go show the property, right? Because I'll get a drone photographer and a photographer to go out there and we'll do tons. The property I'm about to post, I've got like 400 photos of. I'm doing a huge video on. It's big. It's one with a 2.6 acre spring-fed pond on it. I told you about. Yep. And like, you don't have to go out there because we've already compiled everything together and show you exactly what it looks like. So you can sit at your computer at home online and feel how this feels. It's not like a house where you have to like walk in and be like, okay, is this bedroom big enough? Is this, you know what I mean? Is the toilet
you pretty
working?
much need someone to show it, which is where we got kind of screwed at this house. Like, I would have loved to just sell this myself. We had to give up, it's going to be 6% on a $760,000 sale for this house, like 50 G's, 42 G's, 45 G's to show the property. But otherwise, it's like, I'm not coming out here from Fort Worth every time, once a day. Someone wants to show, once a day. So yeah, I think less problems, definitely way wider margins.
Yeah.
So much simpler and easier. When did you quit your job?
January 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was late 2018. I think it was August 2018. Biggest, do you have any regrets doing that? Like, what was that process like?
I mean, not quitting soon enough, because my first 11 months in business, I bought 72 properties and sold 54 of them, half on terms, half for cash. A lot of those are in Cochran County.
Yeah.
But that proved the concept, and this is when 2016, 2017, there weren't many people in this industry, you know what I mean? So it was very quick turnaround. It was buy these properties from mailers, sell them on Craigslist real fast. And
Craigslist.
Just kept going and going and going.
You used Craigslist?
All the time.
Do you still use Craigslist?
No, not at all. No.
I don't think I ever used Craigslist because the OG land gurus would talk about using Craigslist. But at that time, Facebook Marketplace had already come around. It's so much better.
Yeah. There's just areas where it works better. I've got counties that for sale signs in the front yard sell them immediately.
Yeah.
So
I never used to be a fan of bandit signs or on-site signs. I think you know that I would always shit on them, especially realtor
you've
signs.
seen some of mine around too.
I've seen some of yours and may have knocked it down or messed with it a little bit, taken a little video with it.
Property sold to a watermelon farmer in Pecos, Texas.
Pecos County, Texas, out near Imperial.
Imperial, that's what it was.
They actually do farm melons down there still, which is cool. But
probably watermelon on it now.
Probably, hopefully. Next time I'm down there, I'm going to check it out.
All right.
And we'll see. I'll send you a picture of what happened to it. But what I was getting at, I think, is like, I tell people, like, the signs at the property, like your small sign, it did sell the property.
Yeah.
But, like, I think what it's best used for is when you find someone on Marketplace and they're like, where's your property at? Like, can you drop me a pin? And you drop them a pin, and they go out there and they see that sign. They know that they're there.
Yeah. Just tell them to look for the sign.
Yeah. Otherwise, they see, they're like, where's this land at? Which is how we had problems getting sales off the ground on this subdivision right here that we're on, because there was no signage, the roads weren't built. So unless customers can like physically walk up and visualize and see the land, it's like...
That's hard to do too.
Yeah.
Like for most people. Just following a pin drop is hard, you know what I mean?
So have you had any experience with folks not knowing cardinal directions?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Just like on the phone, they're like, take a left, take a right, which way am I?
Oh yeah.
Like, we had some lady out here today trying to find that well, and I was like, it's literally 100 foot southeast of the well house for the big house. She's like, which way is the...
Which way southeast,
right? Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes I struggle with cardinal directions too, if I'm being honest, especially if it's like confusing. This road's on the north side and it's like backwards almost. But a lot of people don't know how to read plat maps.
Yeah, a lot. Yep. But it's not a skill that you're taught growing up, right? It's a skill that we've learned through our businesses and through doing business in land flipping.
Speaking of growing up, I know you had a very corporate 9-to-5 job before land, correct?
Yep.
What were you doing?
Worked for an engineering consulting firm, construction, building projects.
For how long? But you were making a bunch of money too, right? You were like
Yeah, that was a good job.
150 plus a year?
That was from, I quit in 2019. I started with that company in 2015 or 16, but then I graduated school in 2011. So I was working for another company before then. So 2011 to 2019.
Okay.
And then been doing this since. So
I think
a lot of years.
Yeah, and I think the hard part about it, like making that transition, is having enough capital going into land business, because you mentioned not quitting sooner. Like, I wish I could have quit sooner too, but then I wouldn't have had as much capital to invest and inject into the land business.
Yeah.
Like, it takes money to make money. You need more land. You need to buy more land. So.
I mean, when you're buying those small lots for not much money and flipping them for exponential amounts more, I rolled everything back into the business and it just grew, and I've been able to fund everything to date through that. So it's been nice, but yeah, it's harder once you start buying the bigger properties where you're writing checks for 6 figures, and that drains the bank account real quick.
Do you think that you could get started in this business with little to no money?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How do you think that looks? Is like more sweat equity? Like,
oh yeah.
Because I think wholesaling, you can wholesale land, but I just hate wholesaling. It's like
Agreed.
so painful.
Agreed.
So
but I mean, if you're just doing it for the money, for the capital to start your own land business, then that's a good way to start, right? Yeah. You got to do something. Like you got to give something. There's no easy button. A lot of people want an easy button, and I'm like, you got to actually work. What they don't see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff I haven't heard many land investors talk about is all the struggles we go through as business owners in order to run our business. You and I were talking the other day, you text me and you're like, man, are you always stressed out like I am? And I'm like, absolutely, all the time. Yes. Yeah. Like there's just so much stuff. It's like, I got full-time bookkeepers that are like doing books full-time, right? And like I got to check all their stuff still, and then check with the CPA, and I got to run all of our pay accounts and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Wells Fargo just canceled all the credit cards because they don't have a deal with Visa anymore, and now we're switching to MasterCard. So you know how many like monthly reoccurring payments I've got on those credit cards? And I have to change all of them now, and like that's going to be a couple days of my time.
Dang.
Yeah.
You still taking payments on credit cards?
Not payments. No. I mean just like subscriptions and stuff.
Gotcha.
So like
for like all your business
Land.com account, data, mail. I mean just everything.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's just like it's the little things that like build up like that they don't know, that to switch all those accounts over to a MasterCard from Wells Fargo now instead of the normal Visa I've had for the past 7.5 years, like that takes time, and then I'm not working on other parts of the business. I know it's just like a weird thing to talk about, but nobody ever really talks about the behind the scenes parts of the business.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I think makes this show and this podcast different. Like behind the scenes, like what actually goes on, like freaking running QuickBooks, like watching over your bookkeepers and having meetings, making sure that they're not doing shit wrong. And
you dive deep into it and go into our P&Ls and our balance sheets. And you got to figure out what to assign where, and it might come easy to some people, but like accounting is not my thing. So.
Yeah, I freaking hate accounting. That's definitely the biggest pain point for me.
Yeah.
I was just thinking recently, I think anyone can succeed in this industry for sure. It's definitely becoming a lot more competitive, but like my whole deal is like, just to what you were saying, like any business, whether it's this one or any other business, is like, there is no easy button or easy mode. And I think people, especially in real estate, they quit because they just see like me or you posting online like, oh, I did this $1 million deal, or I made $50,000 here. Like, why aren't I doing $50,000 deals? And they don't know that like it freaking builds up to that, and it's actually a lot of freaking hard work.
Yeah.
And then they quit.
The first year was hard, man. Like it wasn't even 9-to-5 job, because I was living in downtown Houston. I was working at Freeport, and I was commuting back and forth. That's how I heard about the Side Hustle shows. Okay. I talked to my roommate at the time, who's one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. Full ride to Harvard Business School, like super smart. His name's Ben. I said, Ben, I'm bored in the car. And he's like, start listening to podcasts. At that time, I'm like, what's a podcast? You know, I think I'd heard of them, but they weren't huge at the time.
Yep.
And so I ended up downloading the Side Hustle show and heard Mark
Loper
on the
Mark
way, and I was like, that sounds interesting. So all
Is that the
from
first
a comment
business you started?
What's that?
Is that the first business you started?
I mean, middle school and high school I had a lawn mowing business that was actually pretty good, at 40 plus yards. So did pretty well. Did pretty well in that.
Little hustler, little Matt Peterson pushing the lawnmower.
Flipped a lot of concert tickets. Concert tickets.
I did that too back in the day. That's funny. You would go on Craigslist and someone would be offloading like 16 of them for like $20 a pop for like Toby Keith, rest in peace, or like Dixie Chicks or like Dave Matthews Band or something. And I would buy, like 16 tickets for like $300.
Yeah.
And then I would turn around and sell them each at like $50 a pop and make like 800.
Yeah.
On Craigslist.
You can make money on anything if you hustle enough.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's very true, man. When it comes to the land space, I just don't think people even begin to conceptualize, because you got so many gurus and stuff out there teaching nowadays.
So many.
How easy it is.
So I get it with all of them. I mean, I know you do too, but like.
We see all their ads and I'll text you like, hey, we got another person entering the space, which I don't mind, because I do it. I teach. We got a good group of almost 100 folks now. Like, plug my own stuff. Like, it's an advanced subdivision group now from what I teach, but you got everyone else teaching like land flipping. And I'm like, I welcome more people in this space, but then I send it to you. You're like, no, I don't want this competition. So what are your thoughts on that?
I tried the whole teaching thing, and I just didn't enjoy it as much as. But I made my own course and everything. I didn't sell it. I gave it to friends and partnered with them on stuff.
Okay.
And it just wasn't. It wasn't my cup of tea.
But I think that you get irritated by more gurus and more people entering the space and making it more competitive.
I think I used to.
Okay.
I know I used to. Now I really don't, because we talked about Brewster County. Go mail Brewster County if you want. I don't care. I get 100 letters a day from there.
Everyone mail Brewster County.
Everyone mails it.
Find savvy land in the tax roll and mail Matt Peterson.
Come mail it. It doesn't matter to me, because what matters is that if I go to mail it, I know that my process is on the back end, on my side. We're actually going to pick up our phones. We're actually going to talk to people, and we're going to execute on, and I'm going to make a decision on yes or no on that. I need an APN number to know whether we're going to buy it or not in that county. I know it so well. And the other people they've got Google Voice, and the people leave messages, they never call them back. So you can mail my places if you want. It doesn't really matter.
What do you think then about a lot of these realtors, and to your point, a lot of these people selling land online, they don't pick up the phone, they can't execute. Do you think that is laziness? What is that? Because, for instance, I worked with a beginner not too long ago, just finding land in the Facebook groups, which, by the way, you go search Facebook groups, search land flipping, join all those groups, you can find deals in there.
Yeah.
Someone was selling a piece in Hudspeth County. So I'm hitting him up on Messenger. He's pretty responsive. He sends me his due diligence. He was like, here's the legal description, here's the GPS pin. So I pulled up the GPS pin, and it pulls me somewhere random in Hudspeth County, which I know the back of my hand, obviously, Cornutus and all my history out there. And I'm looking at this property. It's middle of nowhere, not a good piece. I'm like, all right, I'm not interested. I go to look it up in the CAD roll, and by the legal description, I'm like, this doesn't look right. This legal description in GPS, something's wrong.
Yeah, something's off.
And I dive deeper in, and the GPS he sent me was on the other side of the county, 50 miles away from where the legal description of the land actually was. And then I thought, oh my God, how many other pieces of land is this person selling either on their website or marketplace or whatever? And you got Joe Schmo in California.
Yep.
This is where the land is. Oh my God. And the land is not even where they said it is.
So that was a big skill when you and I started, and it's something I realized very quickly. I don't know if you remember this. You sent me a video on your cell phone that you recorded of you mapping a legal description of a property.
EarthPoint, probably?
Yeah, I still use EarthPoint.
Yeah.
No. It was mapping based on the legal description.
Okay, yeah.
And then I realized how many people don't understand how to map based on a legal description or do it. Mm-hmm. There are counties like Hudspeth County where they didn't have a GIS CAD site back then.
They still don't. I mean, they kind of do.
They kind of do, but it's off. Yeah, Presidio County's kind of like that too. There's a lot of stuff that's off. So then I started mapping stuff on the legal description and quickly found out that, okay, there's a lot of properties that are in the wrong spot on the GIS if they have one. If they don't have one, most people don't know where they are.
Or what they'll do is the property will be 10 acres. And the GIS map will bring it only to the section, which is 640.
Yeah, they haven't
multiple
narrowed
sections.
it down yet because probably the county assessor doesn't know how to map it either.
Yeah,
I've
quarter calls or whatever.
Lots of places.
Or just imagine the amount of work that actually takes. If there was 64 10-acre lots in one section, which is 640 acres.
Yeah.
And then they had, let's say, even 100 sections, which is small. You're now talking 6,400 lots that they have to go in.
Yeah.
Someone has to go in there and map it in the GIS system.
I've had to handhold county CAD sites, like
from a county
show them how to
official.
do it. Be like, here's the PID we need. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. And it's a lot of work, but like it needs to be accurate still for us to go and sell our properties.
Yeah,
So.
and I guess let's talk about that real quick. Working with the counties, because these poor folks, like, they're not going to go map 6,400 lots. They're getting paid probably $15 an hour in Sierra Blanca, Texas, and they're actually pretty good at their job for what they do.
Yeah.
But to ask that of I wouldn't want to do that. You're not going to pay me enough to sit down and map 6,400 lots.
Nope.
But working with the counties, any tips and tricks or things that complaints, tips, tricks, things with the counties?
Oh, man, I guess one of the most recent ones I'm doing right now is to hire somebody local, like a surveyor or engineering company, if you want to do like a subdivide.
Yeah.
Because they know all the people, like they've already done it. So the latest subdivide I'm doing right now is outside of Austin, and it's 2 contiguous 10-acre properties, so it's 20 acres.
Okay.
And it's already in a subdivision that's subdivided, so I know some people don't like subdivides, but everything else in this subdivision is...
Cue the trolls. You're ruining America.
Everything else in the subdivision is 5 acres. And so we're just cutting each one. So we're making 4 lots instead of 2. So we've got 4 5-acre lots. And the property straight across the street from this in the same subdivision, the year prior, were subdivided and platted by a local engineering company. So I just called them and said, hey, we saw you guys did this. Can you do this one across the street for us? They said yes. Unfortunately, it takes so long to do, because what I found out recently, I was talking to the guy this morning actually at the engineering company, is that the county engineer for that county, they outsource it to a third-party engineering company. There's not like an in-house engineer. So this guy's this outsourced engineer is doing it like nights and weekends, if that, but not even really. So it's taken, I think we're up to like 8 months, and we were supposed to have everything signed at the county meeting by the judge on this past Monday.
Didn't make it.
Well, he couldn't get the engineering firm couldn't get the signature from the, I guess it's like the wastewater guy or something there.
So this has like utilities and everything on it.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have septic, but we have like a plan for that, and I think it was the wastewater guy said he didn't have a signature for. He got it this morning at 10 a.m., and so now we're on the agenda for March 10th or 11th, I think it is.
Well, congrats on that. Let's talk about that deal. What are the numbers looking like? Buy side, sell side?
I mean, we're all in with buying the property and platting, all the surveys, I'd do water hookups, putting water on each lot.
Okay.
I've still got 2 more lots to do the water on, because I can't do that until the plat's approved.
Okay.
But I could do the 2 first ones that already had lots on them, that were already lots, because there were 2 lots there. I'm at like 225, so with those, I'll probably be right around 240, 250. Like
for 20
all
acres.
in.
All in.
Yeah.
What do you think those are going to sell for? All in.
So they kind of vary a little bit, because there's structures, like there's a big barn on one, it's really new. There's a little cabin on one. But total, if selling them as is, probably worth 150 to 200 each. As is. But I think we might put homes on them at this point.
200,000 each for 40 lots.
4
lots.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was 40. That'd be even better.
I misheard you then. So 800 G, so like 250 into 800.
Yeah.
If you don't build or do any improvements.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Should be. Like low end would be 600. I mean, they'll range a little bit.
But the time frame there is what is long, right?
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to be that much. I'm going to go talk to that engineer after it's done, the first one, and be like, I want to do more work here, but like, yeah, gosh, it'll be a year before I sell the first one.
Well, I think I think this is what you did, but a good tip for people is like, when I have those subdivides, I will find an engineer who did it next door, but you can actually go either into the GIS system or like the county recording system and pull the plats.
The plats, yeah.
And just see what surveyor stamped it.
Yep.
And you just call them
that's
up.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, that's a great tip. One thing that I will add, like working with counties, like I tell people this all the time, you have to like ask the same question maybe like 2 or 3 different times.
Yeah.
You call them up, you're like, I'm looking for this property. They're like, sir, I don't know where this is. And they're like, okay, well, what about this legal description? Like, can you pull this up? Oh, okay, well, I see it's over here. Okay, well, I was told it was next to the barn on XYZ Road. Oh, yeah, sir, I know exactly where it's located. Like, you just got to work them a little bit.
Yep. ask it in a little different way, and it might cue them off on a different day. So
yeah, and it also depends on the day and how friendly they're feeling, and
Yep.
if they had their donuts and coffee that morning.
Yeah.
Is that your first subdivide you did?
No, I've done some other not by myself, but like I did the plats by myself with the legal description.
Yeah.
Out in like West Texas.
So like quarter calls or just plat exempt, bigger, 10 plus acre stuff.
Yep. Over 10 acres. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like what I'm thinking is that subdividing is like the new blue ocean in the land space. A lot less competition, a lot less people doing it, way higher returns. It's more complicated, but not really. As long as you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get all these beginners entering the space, which is fine, flipping and doing the smaller pieces, but to be able to subdivide and do the larger pieces, I mean, that's where the less competition money is to be made going forward, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think flipping just land is just like buying a lot and selling it is so much easier, mainly because of the time, or you're just not willing to figure out the rules of the county.
Yeah.
I mean, you've read the books where you get the county rules that are like that thick, and you're like, oh boy, here we go.
Liberty County, Texas, which is like 260 or 270 pages.
I flipped a lot of land in Liberty County.
Yeah, we know.
A lot of land.
Good old big thicket.
Yeah. You're doing something up there?
No, I'm not. I just know what you did, and I've coached people who have done deals in the big thicket, so like I know exactly where that's at. And there's just so many small lots in there that you can go and buy for what?
So many.
Probably $2,500 and sell for like 7 to 10 G's.
Yeah. There's a judge in Liberty County that owns a lot of that land.
Really?
Yeah, and so like I hit him with a mailer long time ago, and he goes, yeah, I'll sell you like all these, and it was a lot, and so it was brand new. I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Did you buy them?
I went up there and like I'm looking on Google Earth, right, and everything's wooded, it's got trees. He refrained to tell me, or he didn't tell me that he had just logged it. Like it was just decimated, like the roads were out and stuff.
That's why I wanted to get rid of it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But
he's like, I'm gonna sell it to this newbie. Plus, I got the timber
I didn't end
off
up buying it. It was a mess. Like the logging company just destroyed parts of it.
What do you think? Because that's East Texas, I would say. Like, what do you think the hottest spot in Texas is for land, or is there a hot spot?
Man, during COVID, it was around Austin because everyone was flocking to Austin from
California,
New York. Yeah, the coasts. Right now it's hard because I'm trying to, you always try and find markets that are going to be hot, and almost everywhere you look, if you look how I've been looking for the past 7.5 years, is just looking at supply and demand, right? And there's way more demand right now, like way more everywhere. There's so much stuff for sale. So much stuff for sale everywhere that I work anyways. And hot
there's way more
markets,
supply. There's a lot of supply right now, you're saying?
Tons of supply.
Okay.
Tons of supply.
Do you think demand is just down, or do you think demand's still the same? Does everyone, their mother and brother wants to sell land at top value? Like, what do you think's going on?
So I guess a good example would be like, I don't know the exact numbers right now, but Liberty County, for example, in Texas was, when I started working there, it had 35 to 45 properties for sale, like on, say, back then it was not Lands of America, Landwatch is what I was looking back then. It was just Landwatch, right? And there'd be like 45 properties for sale, and you look at the sold properties in the past year, and it'd be like 250. You're like, okay, this is great. Now it's completely flipped the other way to where there's 250 properties for sale, and there's barely any that have sold in the last year. There's a lot of areas like that.
So you're actually diving into like deep into numbers. They're like granular analytics. Like, are you doing that now still nowadays? Do you use like Zillow filters? Are you on land.com? Like, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I use all those still, and just look for, now I'm just trying to dive into like even more specific markets rather than whole counties. Just looking for like little neighborhoods or whatever, like little zip codes, school district, whatever. And there's still just a lot of stuff on market. But
then you hit them with direct mail?
Yep.
Mostly? How many mailers you send out per year, you think?
On average, it's like 100,000, 120,000.
Jesus.
I've sent out
10,000 a month.
20,000 this year so far.
Okay, so 10,000 a month, call it. Which I would say back in the day, that would be a lot.
That would have been a monster number.
I don't think, I mean, it's way more nice.
No, it's not many, but like I'm getting so granular and like sending such specific mailers that.
Have you ever found a deal on market? Have you ever bought on market?
Bought one off Facebook Marketplace, closed it last week.
Okay.
Yeah, Brewster.
What was the deal with that? Because I feel like if it was a hit marketplace, it probably was close to full value. You just found a good deal?
The lady just had it forever and posted it on one of the groups out there, and I saw it, messaged her, said, deal, let's go.
So
for your price.
That
I'll
right
give you a
there
contract.
is the testament to like knowing an area like the back of your hand. What I see from so many beginners and experts is they take like the shotgun approach, which for the flipping and like the high volume component sort of works. Like you should do that. Like if you're like sending 10,000 mailers a month, like you're pulling markets or whatever, doing sold ratios, cool. But like for subdividing and just for more advanced stuff, like you get to know a market like the back of your hand. Like for you, it's Brewster. You see a deal pop up, you're like, boom, sold.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'll take it today. You don't even need to spend days doing research, calling the county, figuring out if you can do power, water, all that. You know the market, you know you can sell it, you know the price points in your
Yeah. I knew exactly where it was. I had drone footage of it 3 months prior. Like, yeah.
So focus on an area. That's what I always tell people.
I'm really bad at that. Really bad at that. I mean, I'm on my way up here today from Austin. I'm driving through this place, and I'm like, man, this land is really pretty around here. I screenshot my Google Maps, send it to my email, and now I'm going to mail that area. Because I'm like, it's really pretty. I don't know where I am, but like, I don't know what county it was, but it was between here and Austin somewhere. So
nice.
I mail all over the place, though, so it's hard for me to stay focused.
So that you basically bought nothing on market. All through direct mail.
I think so.
What's your mailer look like? Are we talking like just a straight offer to people for their land? You doing a range?
Straight blind offers. I tried range with one mailer, and it didn't work for us.
Why? Too many people calling?
Just too many people. Like, okay, well, what's it going to be? Like, is it going to be $1,000 an acre or $3,000 an acre? And I'm like, I don't have the patience for this.
Well, and then you get into people which do run their business this way. I just don't recommend it. I'm not a fan of it. They have VAs, they have acquisition team, acquisition manager.
Yeah.
They handle all the leads, and they analyze the piece, then they make the offer based on their analysis. But obviously we're not doing that because you have to go through hundreds, if not thousands of leads. Mm-hmm. There's no way in hell that we're doing that when we can just send a blind offer and get a piece of land.
Yep. It was too much work for my team, put it that way.
Well, how big's your team? What is your team?
Me, one other lady, and then my brother now works with me too.
Okay.
And then some VAs overseas that do like photo editing. Yeah. But that's it.
It's pretty much a similar thing with me. I mean, I got me, Brian, a bookkeeper, fractional CFO, and a couple editors.
Yeah.
I am about
bookkeepers too.
Yeah. The fun stuff, accounting.
Accountants.
And an attorney. I mean, do you have a go-to attorney, or do you use an attorney very often?
Yeah, for certain areas, yeah. Like I've got one in New Mexico that I've used multiple times.
Yeah, I have it in the presentation tomorrow. I think it was 2022. I think it was $50,000 in legal fees, and then in 23, it's sitting at like $40,000. I think it is, but it's only for like half the year. Okay. Because my attorney has not invoiced me for like 6 months.
She hasn't sent you the bill yet.
So I know there's like a $50,000 bill coming. Yeah. So it's going to be probably $80,000 or $90,000 a year in legal fees. But when you're doing big projects and subdivides, I always tell people you're getting more advanced. You gotta, I think, have an attorney on your team.
Yeah.
But not starting off.
Yep.
Like, what did your team look like starting off? Like, it was just you. It was just us sending out mail and closing, running to the bank, lining up notaries.
Yeah. The lady that works for me full time works like nights and weekends, like answering phone calls and stuff. But pretty much, I was doing everything, yeah.
Which is the fastest way, in my opinion, to grow your business. Like, I think people outsource and delegate and hire all these
before
VAs.
they know how to even do it themselves.
Yeah, before they know how to do anything, they start spinning their wheels, and it never goes anywhere. Then they give up and they quit.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you never really put the work in. This is not 4-hour work week scam, get rich overnight here.
This is not a 4-hour work week business.
We talked about the pain points of that.
Yeah.
So, put in the work, and you're going to see your business grow exponentially.
Agreed. And you're going to get some more expensive properties too, because like both of us started. One of the first times you and I met, you called me and asked me for $50,000. I'm like, I met this dude online. Like, this is so strange.
Don't call someone the first time you meet him online and ask.
I'm not sending you $50,000.
That was for the Hudspeth County subdivision.
Yeah, and then I think you got it somewhere else, and I'm like, damn, I should have given you the $50,000.
You should have, yeah. So give it to the land god.
Yeah.
Mr. Land.
Back then, it was like, this is shit land. No one's gonna buy it. Right?
Exactly what we're talking about. I was thinking in Hudspeth. I ended up getting that money from my dad. I borrowed. It was a $40,000 purchase for 534 acres, and that reel is kind of blown up online. It was 534 acres for $40,000, like $75 per acre. borrowed 35 G's from my dad. I was crapping my pants because I'm like, this is the biggest purchase ever. It's my dad's money. Like, what am I going to do if I fail and don't pay him back? But I was actually scared. I'm getting land for $75 an acre. We rewind that, hindsight 2020, to be able to get land for $75 an acre. Impossible.
We should have bought a lot more land back then.
Yes.
A lot more land.
And I think I ended up selling it all for about 600-ish per acre. So I made 250,000 or something on that deal, 200 G's.
You Thanks for making me feel real bad
you
now.
You should have gave me the money. Well, what are you most excited about, if anything, for 2024 in the future of land or your business? Anything that sticks out? More subdivides? Like, what do we got going on?
I think more improving properties for us. I think that's the way we're probably going to go.
Like vertical, going vertical and doing stuff?
Yeah, because my whole background's in construction for over a decade, and more managing that, because like I'm building a ranch house right now with a builder that's just been terrible to deal with. So I'm like, I didn't want to do it in-house because I was having knee surgery, and I'm like, we're doing this ourselves next time. Like, this is silly.
Well, you definitely have a leg up with that experience.
Yeah.
We may need to bring you out to Cornudas. You can consult on my ranch house in Hudspeth County. Brian, can you get my laptop? We'll give away a free piece of land here and my mouse shortly. But we're out here on 150 acres in Midland. Have you ever been to Midland?
Nope.
What do you think? What do you think about Midland, Texas?
I mean, it works for y'all, I guess.
Well, I think this is a testament to land. Do you agree you can do this anywhere?
Yep.
Is there any areas that you would not want to do this in? I tell people California and New York, although upstate New York has a lot of good land. California, though, still has some good land.
I mean, I think it'll work anywhere.
Yeah.
Even in markets that don't have demand, right? Because that was exactly what I said about Cochran County, is there were no listings there, and then all of a sudden I've got tons of listings.
Did that make you were nervous when you were doing that, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Like, you were the first one in that market.
Yep.
Any advice for that? Like,
I was scared to death buying 2 1-acre properties for $100 each. Yeah, scared to death.
$100 each.
Yep.
Okay, that is.
But it'll work anywhere.
But that's a piece of land that we're about to give away. You bought it for $100. Okay, for the haters who say that the land I give away is not worth anything, an acre in the middle of the desert. Matt, you've bought how many of those 1-acre pieces, you think?
35, 40.
How much have you sold them? Did they all sell?
Yeah.
How much?
The 1-acre ones?
For 1 acre.
Bought them for $100 an acre each, and then sold them on Craigslist for $500 to $750 cash.
And that was 4 or 5 years ago?
That was 2016.
7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think they're worth? I tell people 1,000, bare minimum.
Probably.
I think you could maybe get 1,500, but 1,000. I think 1,000's good. If not, you do 100 a month for 14 months with 100 down or something. You sell them on terms for 1,500. You think that's doable?
I think so, especially on terms.
We are not BSing here that these 1-acre lots in the middle of nowhere, Cochran County, Texas, are $1,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you, my friend, when I pull up the random number generator right here to show folks what we have going on, here is a spreadsheet. It goes to row 2,466. And all we're going to do is do a random number generator from 1 to 2466 on Google. Let me cue this up. Put the max at 2466. Google random number generator. You will confirm, and we're going to do a drum roll, and Matt is
have to use the mouse. I know.
Have to use the mouse because this
thing is
broke.
podcasts.
And he's gonna. We're making $1 million on this deal, and I can't afford a new laptop. But we're gonna hit generate, and we're gonna see what pops up.
All right, here we go. Got number 1,216.
1,216. This is the first time we've been in the thousands, and we're gonna see who that winner is. Lucky winner for 1 acre of land in Cochran County, Texas is Tony, Mr. Tony Joppa. Tony Joppa with a 308 area code. Hopefully he put in a right phone number and email, Anthony Joppa, and I can actually get a hold of you. If not, I'll just rerun the giveaway and give this out to another piece. But Tony, congrats, you won an acre in Cochran County. We think it's worth $1,000. Any final words, Mr. Peterson?
Nothing here, man. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Me too. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
shooting a podcast, and we'll have to hop on soon at your ranch for episode 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thanks, guys.